Welcome to the Truth Unfiltered USA. Today, I'd like to explore a subject with you, one that can be the breaking point of our constitutional republic. Our American youth, once the torchbearers of liberty, are now being quietly conquered, not by force, but by the slow seduction of socialism disguised as compassion. They're being taught to trade freedom for promises and self-reliance for the comfort of control. Why socialism always fails, and why it's dangerous for America. Every time a nation embraces socialism, freedom dies a little faster. It starts with promises of equality and ends with everyone equally poor, equally dependent, and equally powerless. The lie of equality. Socialism sells the dream of fairness, but in reality, it destroys ambition. When the government decides what you earn, what you own, and what you can say, innovation disappears. Why push yourself if your reward will be taken away and handed to someone who didn't work for it? Socialism sounds good until you run out of other people's money. Who really gets rich? Under socialism, the rich don't vanish, they just change titles. Instead of entrepreneurs, you get bureaucrats. The political class becomes the new elite, while the average citizen fights for scraps. Look at Venezuela, Cuba, and the Soviet Union. All promised equality, all ended in shortages, corruption, and repression. Every socialist nation begins with idealism and ends with tyranny, because when government owns everything, it owns you. Socialism punishes success and rewards dependency. It kills small business, destroys the middle class, and leaves only two groups, the rulers and the ruled. The United States became powerful because people were free to fail, learn, and build. That's capitalism. Imperfect, yes, but it's the only system that turns effort into prosperity. When politicians promise free things, free college, free healthcare, free housing, remember this: nothing is free. Someone pays the price, and that someone is you, your freedom, and your children's future. It should be no wonder that most prominent socialists today don't have children and have never really held a job outside of politics. Socialism isn't compassion, it's control. Capitalism isn't greed, it's freedom. Choose wisely, America, because if we trade liberty for promises, we'll lose both.
It's no secret that the Democratic Socialists of America hate the Democratic Party.
I think we're all on the same page that we hate the Democratic Party.
The Democratic Party is not really our friend. It isn't.
So why are the DSA such major players in the Democratic Party? This odd relationship can be understood with the cuckoo analogy. In nature, the cuckoo survives by trickery. It lays its egg in another bird's nest. The unsuspecting parents raise the imposter as their own, until the cuckoo grows strong enough to push the true chicks out. The DSA is the cuckoo inside the Democratic Party.
DSA is not the Democratic Party.
We must separate ourselves from the toxic Democratic Party.
We can put forward a clear, aggressive, principled strategy that pushes back against the Democratic leadership and the Democratic Party as a whole.
DSA candidates run as Democrats in safe blue districts. They slip through low turnout primaries. And once inside, they use the Democratic label as camouflage while advancing an extremist anti-American agenda far beyond the party's mainstream.
I don't agree with the Democratic Party, but it's a great tool.
The Democratic is a tool that we use.
Once in office, DSA candidates take orders from DSA's internal enforcers and working groups. City halls and state houses start running as socialist machines controlled by the organization, not the Democratic Party, and certainly not voters.
They have to have a connection with DSA's internal politics, and they have to be committed to the eventual goal of building a separate entity from the Democrats.
DSA are revolutionaries, and the Democrats are their first victims. And in city after city, DSA victories prove their plan works.
I think that the model that we used in New York is 100% replicatable.
And just like the cuckoo, once the DSA grows strong, it pushes the true Democrats out, hollowing the party from within,
building towards political independence and tearing apart the Democratic Party.
The DSA is not here to strengthen the Democratic Party. It is here to consume it.
We're not here to make the Democrats a little bit better. We're here to actually enact socialism. And socialism is not just better capitalism. It's overthrowing the entire capitalist state.
It's our duty, DSA, to cultivate this power.
The cuckoo is in the nest, and New York City is poised to elect not a Democrat, but Zohran Mamdani, an extremist within the DSA.
We understand that winning an election is not an end. It is a means to an end.
The most important thing that we can do is take that empire down from within.
Ultimately to overthrow our own empire.
We need a movement that can drive a stake through the heart of the empire.
We need to orient ourselves towards insurrection.
So wake up when we say the socialist will use every weapon to destroy the republic. We mean it.
Is there any aspect of socialism that actually is good? Or is there any mix of, is it possible that any kind of aspect of socialism is good at all? Like, again, what about Medicaid?
No.
What about?
No, so it's based in collectivism. It's based in the idea that I can take a gun to your head and take money away from others. Socialism is a creed of greed and of envy and of societal malpractice. And it violates every single one of the things that I talked about earlier of basic condition of human rights and private property and free exchange of ideas. And to that extent, socialism has been implemented over 100 times in the last 100 years, neo-Marxist socialist ideas, and the incalculable death toll speaks for itself. You have 100 million people killed in the last 100 years. There's something fundamentally troubling and wrong about that. So when they start to talk about Medicaid, well, you want to talk about one of the most abused social welfare programs in the country? Okay. You want to talk about Social Security, which is bankrupt, stealing all of your earnings every single day, and that we should be able to opt out of before the age of 25, but we're not allowed to because somehow we have to pay into some Social Security fund that we're never going to see. You want to talk about Medicare, which is $120 billion a year in documented waste, fraud, and abuse. So yeah, if that's socialism, then socialism does suck. If you want to talk about socialism being the U.S. Postal Service, which is bankrupt, doesn't get stuff on time, completely and totally inept, and is being outcompeted by FedEx and UPS and DHL every single day with zero government subsidies. You want to talk about socialism being so good because of the VA? Really? You want to talk about the VA? $150 billion a year. We have vets dying, waiting in line for care. That's government-run health care, isn't it? So no, if you look at government, you see nothing but waste, fraud, abuse, misallocation of tax dollars. I would make an argument. I make this argument. If we abolished every social welfare program and substantially and dramatically lowered taxes, you would see an explosion of private charity and philanthropy that would more effectively and more morally take care of our citizens than all of these government welfare programs combined over the last decade. Combined. And you would see an explosion of people taking care of people.
Socialism doesn't work. It didn't work in the Soviet Union, it didn't work in China, it didn't work in North Korea, it didn't work in Cuba, doesn't work in Venezuela, it wouldn't work in Mars. Because the way it is structured goes against human nature. It depends on humans not having rational behaviors for their own well-being.
Socialism.
Socialism. Socialism is the way forward.
Socialism is popular. In recent years, more than a third of American adults said they view socialism positively. Why? Maybe because social media is filled with economically illiterate people saying things like,
socialism is working better than capitalism 93% of the time.
93% of the time? Where does she get that? Well, I asked Stossel TV producer Christine Tokarev to investigate.
She got it from this study, published in the Journal of Health Services 40 years ago. But its Marxist authors conveniently exclude high-income countries, like the US, Japan, Canada, in fact, all the biggest capitalist countries. They compare socialist countries to allegedly capitalist countries like these, some of which were at war. Based on that, she says,
we have all the data showing that socialism does work.
Madeline Pendleton is a TikTok star with more than 1 million subscribers.
What do I like about communism?
She celebrates communism too.
Mostly the increased life expectancy.
But there's no increased life expectancy. People live longest in capitalist places like Japan and South Korea. Even in the United States, where more people die young because we drive more. And so we have more car accidents. We eat more and get fat.
Is that mac and cheese on your hamburger? It is mac and cheese.
We shoot each other more often, and we take more dangerous drugs. Yet we still live longer than people in China. But socialism is also better, says Pendleton, because of
the 90 to 100% home ownership rates.
100%? That's just silly. China, if you believe their statistics, does have almost 90% home ownership. But that only happened after China terminated socialist housing. Under socialism, just 20% of people owned homes. In socialist Venezuela, homeowners don't even own their homes.
Dozens of people squatting in this abandoned office tower in central Caracas.
Yet Pendleton claims
the commies want to steal your house from your landlord and give it straight to you.
Pendleton has plenty of company praising socialism on social media. This YouTuber with almost 2 million subscribers tells people why you should be a socialist.
The guaranteed right to healthcare, food, and shelter.
It's true, socialism promises free healthcare, food, and shelter. But that doesn't mean what people get is any good. Look at Cuba.
El sistema nacional de salud cubano está destruido.
Los hospitales abarrotados, la gente muriéndose en los pasillos.
This socialist TikToker with Karl Marx-like hair has 100,000 subscribers.
Capitalism is a political economy which prioritizes profits over people. The antidote to that political economy would be socialism, a political economy that prioritizes people over profits.
Socialist theory does. But again and again, what people get is misery.
You would be subjected to backbreaking labor, brutality, starvation,
countless millions of deaths, and the worst man-made famine in human history.
Yet a man calling himself spooky, scary socialist gets almost 2 million views saying,
communism did work. It provided essential services like full employment, rough income inequality.
How can these people be so deluded? I'm eager to hear what they'll say when John interviews them. They tell millions of people
the central idea that unites all socialists is maximizing freedom, a more dignified life, and the democratization of power.
Democratization? Like in China? Here, there's just one party, and its leader made himself president for life. Every socialist economy has failed. Venezuela was once the richest country in South America. Now, there are food shortages.
More and more people reduce to eating from the rubbish.
Socialism just doesn't work.
Seemed to work in Vietnam really great, actually.
So says this TikTok socialist. But what finally worked in Vietnam was free markets. Before Vietnam embraced capitalism, people went hungry. The country depended on handouts. Then Vietnam legalized capitalism and freed the private sector. The TikTokers make the same mistake about China.
Socialism worked in China.
China eradicated extreme poverty.
Wrong again. When China banned capitalism, millions died.
Those who didn't get on with the leader of the production team or those who disobeyed his orders were starved to death.
It was only after
campaigns like the Great Leap Forward and the Cultural Revolution had killed tens of millions of people
that China's leaders reversed course,
embracing capitalism and encouraging private business.
Only then did average incomes in China rise. But socialism's promoters still say, you don't need capitalism or profit.
Innovation can flourish even when people are not motivated by profit. The USSR gave the world the anthrax vaccine, artificial satellites, and one of the earliest mobile phones.
That's true, but do any of you have a socialist-made phone today? The West has just created so much more. The socialists say,
ownership should be collective.
But every attempt, anywhere, at collective ownership has failed. In America, people tried that 200 years ago. In New Harmony, Indiana, private property was abolished. The result, as with similar attempts, was famine. No matter how many views these propagandists get, the fact is, socialism fails.
So what do these popular socialists say in response to these inconvenient facts? Sadly, I can't show you. We invited them to come here and make their points to you. Not one would.
Socialism stays winning.
The bottom line is that incentives matter. Nobody washes a rental car because most people don't care a lot about what belongs to everyone. It's just human nature. Capitalism isn't perfect, but if we really want a better future and freedom, capitalism, not socialism, is the way to get those things.
America is more than a country. It's our homeland, one built on courage, faith, and freedom. We've stumbled before, but we've always risen stronger. The fight against socialism isn't just political, it's personal. It's about protecting the dreams our parents worked for and the future our children deserve. Together, we can keep the flame of liberty alive. I beg you all, do not let them destroy our republic.